Take no more of that, cause we know say it's for 100 years, and it's the same kind of living. Brutality, hypocrisy, same immorality with I say, lion, lion, with the lion, lion, with the lion, lion, right in there, cause we know you can't fool you no more. Jaja teach you the right and true way, and then we say every man shall get paid according to his work. Babylon, we not take no more of that. Oh, what we say? Can't take no more of that. Stand firm.
From Brixton to Jane and Finch, the untold story of sus and the diasporic DNA of slang. Turn your pockets out. You look suspicious. Or you, up against the wall. If you grew up black in the UK in the 1970s and 80s, or in Toronto through the 1990s or 2000s, then you've probably heard some version of these words. What you might not know is that these phrases and the language surrounding them gave birth to some of the most defining street slang we use today. Take sus, for example. Most people throw it around now like it's a TikTok punchline. He's acting sus. Yo, that move was sus. But behind the word is a chilling legal history, one that connects Brixton to Toronto and Windrush children to black youth today, across continents and generations. This is the real story, and how Jamaican migrants, British law, and colonial policing shaped the slang and psyche of entire cities. The origin of sus. It's not just a word, but a weapon. Sus wasn't always slang, it was law. Specifically Section 4 of the Vagrancy Act of 1824, a British law originally intended to control homelessness and idle persons in the 19th century. But by the 1970s, Metropolitan Police in London were using this obscure clause to target young black men under what they claimed was suspicion of intent to commit an arrestable offence. No evidence needed, just a feeling, just a vibe. It became known as the sus law, and it devastated the first full generation of British-born black youth, the sons and daughters of the Windrush migrants, mostly Jamaican, who had come to the UK between the late 1940s and 1970s to rebuild the country post-World War II. Police would roll up, say, "Oi, you look suspicious." And that was it. You were thrown in the back of a van, no charges, no evidence. Just the vibe, just the feeling. State-sanctioned vibes. And that's the original sus. And it wasn't just harassment, it was violence, humiliation, and a generational rupture. Young boys were taken from bus stops, others were beaten in cells, and at home, their parents, steeped in colonial respectability politics, often refused to believe them. "You must have done something," they'd say. "The police are always right." But the kids knew better, and as always, so did the streets. London slang and the Jamaican diaspora. By the time sus law sparked the 1981 Brixton riots, a new generation of youth, black, working class, Caribbean, had created a whole new language, a dialect that was defiant, coded, and theirs. Multicultural London English, MLE, was born, but its backbone was Jamaican Patois. Words like wagwan, which means what's going on, or you, which means youth, ends, which is referring to neighborhood, and mandem, which refers to the crew, lads, the boys, the homies. Crease means to beat up or embarrass, as in, the police creased my collar. But deeper still was the slang tied to trauma. Sus wasn't just a law, it became a verb. Yo, I got sussed out last night. It entered the lexicon through fear and settled as a warning, a reference, a coded term to describe the surveillance black boys face daily. Even now, many in the UK don't even know why they say sus, but that's its origin. It's not from among us. It's from the Vagrancy Act of 1824 and the way it was weaponized against the descendants of British Caribbean underclass that built modern Britain. Toronto, and where the language travelled. But sus didn't stay in London. By the 80s and 90s, waves of Jamaicans were migrating again, this time to Canada, often landing in neighbourhoods like Jane and Finch, Malvern, Scarborough, and Rexdale. These families brought patois, music, and trauma with them. And with it came the slang. Not just words, but survival codes. In Toronto, just like in Brixton, the cops were the ops. Racial profiling was rampant. Young black boys were stopped, harassed, and arrested at staggering rates. And so, just like in the UK, language evolved as a defensive mechanism. Toronto slang was built on Jamaican Patois, British slang, Somali, Tamil, and Arabic vocab, as well as institutional mistrust. Slang like wallahi, which in Arabic is a Somali variant of I swear to God, originally derived from wallah. A lie, which means isn't it, or am I lying, am I telling a lie, is derived from patois. Safe, pre, which is to watch and observe. Sus, which is suspicious or sketchy. Waste you, which means a useless kid. Cutting, like yo, I'm leaving. Like it's kind of evolved into like yo, I'm off this, I'm cutting, bro, that kind of thing. And on job, which is like more heard in the UK, I feel. Like yo, bruv, I'm on this, man. I'm on job, innit? Many Torontonians today argue over who coined what. But if you trace it back, so much of Toronto slang came through the UK, and the UK got it from Kingston. It's a diasporic relay, handing the baton from Trenchtown to Tottenham to Toronto. Behind every slang word is a system. It's political. When your very existence is criminalized, language becomes armor. Slang like sus is more than shorthand. It's a memory of oppression. It's how young black boys in Brixton warned each other to avoid police. It's how Toronto youth clock or vibe, the mark of danger, for example. Or someone you shouldn't really trust. What's wild is this. Most people today using slang have no idea where it comes from. They say sus and think it's like from TikTok or something. They say mandem and think they heard it in the UK drill song. They say you and think it was Drake that first said it. But these words came from parents who couldn't get jobs, from youth who got locked up for standing still, from riot vans and shattered illusions of justice. Slang is resistance. Slang is memory. Slang is history in disguise. What we need to remember. To understand slang is to understand how power moves. Who gets watched, who gets stopped, and who gets heard. Sus was never meant to be a funny thing. It was fear. It was legislation. It was lived experience turned into language. From Windrush to Regent Park, from Tottenham to Scarborough, the words we use are soaked in stories of displacement, defiance, and survival. So the next time you hear someone or some kid, some you, say, yo, that's sus, ask them if they know about Brixton 1981. Ask them if they heard about sus laws. Ask them where the slang really comes from. Because slang doesn't just happen. It travels, it bleeds, and it remembers. Thank you for watching this. Please like and subscribe. And Toronto to the world. And big up the UK massive. And Assalamu alaikum.